could go back and give my younger self any advice, it would be to do more and give more to other people. And you know, since starting this voluntary role at the hospice, I've realised just how much the few hours a week that I spend with somebody else, how much of an impact that has on their life. So for any of you guys watching this, I highly urge you to do any kind of voluntary work that you can. You would be doing something absolutely wonderful. How's it going? So as you can tell, because this is another one of my Medicine Diaries videos, you can kind of guess my initial motive for wanting to do voluntary work at a hospice. But as I said in my intro, since starting I've realised that it's so much more than that, and part of this video is for me to share my experience with you, but for any of you who are also even slightly considering volunteering, I really hope that this video can be the tipping point for you to be really pumped up to go out there and give some of your time or some of your assets to other people. So I guess let's just start with my experience. I applied for a voluntary role as a befriender. And basically, the befriending service is something that quite a lot of hospices offer. And it is a service in which the volunteers will go out to patients, or maybe even within the hospice, and kind of just act as, you know, just a friend for the people to speak to. I think something that is quite shocking, that was even shocking to me, was that you forget that as you get older and you become less mobile, and maybe you're not able to do things as independently as you previously could, you start to become quite isolated, and that's something that I learned through this experience. And I think it's amazing that people have set up services like this, because it means people like me can, you know, go in and try and almost be like a helping hand for somebody. And I think the reason why a befriending service is very good is that, for example, the patients who are almost housebound, they do get visits from the nurses, maybe people who care for them, social workers, but all of those people are paid to be there. They're there to do a job. Whereas volunteers can go there of their own accord and just sit with the patients and have a chat and a cup of tea. And it doesn't sound like much, does it? But it seems like it gives the people something to really look forward to. So anyway, the way that I applied for this position is by going online. And I think if, again, as I said, if you guys are interested, just search online for any hospice in your area and see what kind of volunteer services they offer. So I did this, and then I filled out a form. And then I think a couple of days or a week or something later, I got a phone call asking me to come and do an interview. Good morning everyone! So it is the 30th of May and I really need to rush out the door quickly, so I can't make this vlog too long. But I am going to a hospice interview at the moment because I'm trying to get some volunteer work. I'm not sure how much of it I can film, probably none of it. I think it'll be a bit rude, but I'll carry my camera with me, so if there's something I want to talk about maybe directly after, or if I get a chance like on the bus or something, then I will catch up with you guys then. Okay, so I've just gotten out of the interview, and I'm not going to say which hospice it was for obvious reasons, but the interview went well, the people there were absolutely lovely, and I'm so excited to start. I don't think my actual, it's for a befriending service, and I don't think it's going to be at the hospital. I think you'll be visiting patients' homes. But yeah, that was done, it went well. Now I've booked in the training the training day, and now I'm about to head back to uni and carry on with everything else. Hey everyone, so it's the afternoon now and I've just gone back from the labs. I'm really excited for the training day, and I don't know, I'm just keen to see how it all goes and actually get started. I think this is going to be quite an important experience to get, especially because a lot of the times when I've been doing shadowing and working, you know, next to doctors and stuff, when I say working, I mean like work experience, I've mostly been seeing things from the eyes of the doctors. So I think doing this kind of voluntary service, it'll be a really good opportunity to see things more from the patient's point of view, and just to see what's the everyday challenges or the everyday, I guess, routines of somebody who's in palliative care is like. Anyway, I guess I will catch up with you guys on the training day. So as well as just getting to know me a little bit and knowing what I do and what kind of a person I am, they did ask quite a few difficult questions. So the questions were, how would you deal with getting close to a person and then passing away? If a patient was having suicidal thoughts, what would you do? Who would you tell? Or would you tell anybody? And number 3 is, if a patient is unable to verbally communicate, and is bed bound, how would you go about providing this befriending service? Now, I'm not really going to discuss what I said or the answers, because I don't feel like there's necessarily a right or wrong answer. But I think to me those were very interesting questions, especially the last one, because I had to think about that quite a lot. And in fact, if you have any suggestions for that, let me know down below, because I'm genuinely curious. Anyway, the interview went quite well, and I was invited to go back to do a training day. Hey everyone, so I forgot to film a segment straight after the training day, but overall it was such a good experience. And we had a chance to listen to the coordinators of the whole befriending service talk to us about what everything is, you know, the safety and all of that kind of stuff. But the thing I enjoyed the most personally was when we got one of the counsellors, the hospice counsellors, to come in. And like, she was talking about her experiences and what she thinks is required from the role. And I think what was really interesting about the things she had to say was that before I came to the session, my priority was, okay, so how can I help the patient the most? How can I deal with their concerns? How can I blah, 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 like everything about the patient? Which is still very valid, by the way. But what the counsellor kind of made me realise is that in order for me and all the other volunteers to be able to do that and to be able to give our best to the patient, we have to work on ourselves, and we have to look after ourselves and look after our own emotional well-being, and you know, because it can be quite a difficult job. Anyway, I think what I'm trying to say is that I was quite like overwhelmed by the amount of support that they gave to us. And I think for anybody who's considering something like this but is a bit worried of like, oh, what if it's too hard? What if I won't be able to have difficult conversations? Trust me guys, there's definitely support there. Anyway, overall, I really enjoyed the introduction session, the training session, and I got to meet some other really lovely volunteers. And it's just nice to have that little community. So after the training sessions were over, let me see if I can find it, we got given our ID badges. This is mine. Terrible picture, but never mind. So we got given our ID badges. And then the next thing to do was to set up kind of like a initial visit with a patient that the hospice matched you up with. And in the first visit, it's quite good because one of the hospice staff members comes with you. So it was me, my supervisor, I guess, hospice supervisor, and also my patient. So we had a good afternoon, we had a little bit of a chat. You know, just quite briefly, maybe like 15-20 minutes. And then after that, I think we got along quite well, and we decided that the week after I would come and have like a test session of just me and her. So as I said, if you are watching this and you're thinking, okay, this is great, I want to help in some way, what can I do? Firstly guys, that is amazing. Honestly, I can't encourage you guys to help out more. And you know, there are so many ways that you can give your time, and you know, so many different ways for you to volunteer, and doing this service is just one of the many ways. I think the thing with working in a hospice is that you do have to be over 18, as with volunteering in care homes and in care settings. However, fret not, because if you are under 18, for example, if you're 16 or 17 or maybe even 15 and you want to do some kind of you know, work within a care setting or within a care home, I think a good way to go about doing this is getting in touch with local care homes and asking them if there is, for example, if you have a certain skill set, if you can play an instrument, or if you are an artist, or if you are good at coordinating activities. For example, you could get in touch and ask them if there is some way that you can help, or if they need anybody to, you know, entertain, for example. Again, it doesn't seem like it's such a massive thing to do, and maybe it'll be only like an hour or half an hour a week, but even that is just such a big difference. Another thing I would definitely recommend is, for example, doing charity shops. And I think the hospice that I'm at, they do have a cafe, and I think even the people who work in the cafe are volunteers. And I think it's really important for me to emphasize here that voluntary work, you know, just because you're not having direct contact with the patient, for example, you don't have to go and do a befriending service for you to have a really meaningful experience of volunteering. So as I said, in a charity shop, you might think, oh, well, you know, it's just a shop, it's retail experience. Don't think of it that way. Think of it in terms of how much the time that you put in can benefit people down the line. And I mean, when I was 17 and I couldn't find care home work, I worked in a charity shop. I think it was called Help the Aged or the Aged. Don't know how to say it, but it was a really good experience actually, and I think it taught me a lot. And it's kind of funny looking back because at the time I used to think the same. I used to think, oh well, you know, I want to work with patients and I want to have that interactivity, but you know, I'm just in a charity shop. Anyway, as I said, I know it's often the people-facing roles that people are attracted to, but you know, any way that you guys can volunteer and help, and it's just an amazing thing to do, guys. I honestly can't emphasize it enough. And I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say in this video. Just share my experience a little, and let me know if any of you guys already volunteer and whether you would like to volunteer. I'm genuinely really interested to know. And like I said, if I could go back and tell my younger self anything, is to just do more voluntary work. I had so much spare time when I was a teenager, and there were so many better things that I could have spent it doing. So yes, guys, learn from my ways, and I hope you can all contribute to something amazing. All right, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and until next time, take care, and I'll see you later. Mwah.